My favorite way to teach piano to beginners is 40-minute lessons. Here's why you should try 40-minute lessons and how to price them. Hello, I am Phoenix. I'm the tattooed piano teacher, and here's the tale of how 40-minute lessons became my go-to piano lesson length. Honestly, it all started by accident. Years ago, I didn't raise my prices for the longest time when it was time to upgrade the lesson rates. I noticed that my 30-minute lessons and my 45-minute lessons were disproportionately priced. In order to correct this wrong without overwhelming the 45-minute students, I actually decided to reduce the time from 45 minutes to 40 minutes, so I only had to increase their rate a little bit. Long story short, the 40-minute thing stuck. Now, most piano teachers you talk to will kind of agree that 30-minute lessons kind of suck. We all do them, but we don't like doing them. But you might be thinking, why not 45 though? Why 40? Okay, why not 45? Fair enough question. There's nothing wrong with 45-minute lessons. I did used to teach 45-minute lessons, and they're great. I have nothing against them, but for some reason, I find that 40 minutes is just perfect. Like those last 5 minutes of the 45-minute lesson start to lose them a little bit. So I don't know, that 40 minutes is just right. And I found that blocking my schedule in 20-minute increments rather than 15-minute increments just as easy. And also, if you do 40-minute lessons, you can schedule yourself a little 5-minute break and then start on the next quarter hour. Competitively speaking, you can offer 40-minute lessons for slightly less than 45-minute lessons. But perhaps the biggest pull to 40-minute lessons versus 45-minute lessons is that I now have the option for my students to take 30-minute lessons, 40-minute lessons, 50-minute lessons, or 60-minute lessons. Because you see that jump from either 40 or 45-minute lessons to 60-minute lessons is a lot of extra time. But 50-minute lessons can be just right for my intermediate students. So I like having that extra option. Now, if you're thinking, wow, I only teach 30-minute lessons. I haven't considered 40 or 45-minute lessons. I hear you. For years and years, I only taught 30-minute lessons. It's kind of the norm. It's like the entry-level point. It's the usual. It's one of the reasons that I started my own studio in my living room 10 years ago. I wanted the flexibility to not have to do just 30-minute blocks. If you're only doing 30-minute private lessons right now, I encourage you to do a little experimenting. Perhaps in the summer when you have a little more flexible schedule, here are some of the benefits of extending your lesson from 30 minutes to 40 minutes. The lesson itself feels a little more laid back. You're not feeling like, I have to get these 4 books in, these technique theory, lesson, performance, we have to get it all in these 30 minutes. You're automatically a little more chilled because you have that little buffer of time. In 40-minute lessons, I always have time to actually hear my student play their warm-up, which I think is really invaluable and sometimes tempting to skip over if you only have 30 minutes. In 40-minute lessons or longer, we have time for theory, we have time to talk about theory, we have time to do theory, correct theory, talk theory. In my 30-minute lessons, theory sometimes goes by the wayside, much to the detriment of my student understanding the new concepts that are being introduced in the lesson book. 40-minute lessons versus 30-minute lessons warrants an additional project, whether that be the student starting to improvise, starting another genre they've never played before, having another supplemental book, working towards a festival competition or recital, working on that big classical piece they've always been dreaming of playing, working on a composition project. So they have time to do the core things that they're going to need to up-level, plus we have the time to do that extra thing that really lights them up. And the final benefit for longer lessons is it's a higher income for me as the teacher with having less students. Because as we all know, whenever you're planning recitals, when you're trying to do scheduling, when you're doing admin work, the more students you have, the more work outside of the lessons is. So if you can make your income with a smaller roster of students, you're able to really invest emotionally and mentally and time-wise into those students a little bit more, and you're gonna be making a little bit more money with less students. So how do we price 40-minute lessons? So here's what I do. I take my 30-minute tuition price and I figure out what's the per minute rate. So my per lesson rate divided by 30 minutes, how much am I charging per minute? And then I just multiply that number by 40. So my 30-minute lessons and my 40-minute lessons are usually the same or very close per minute rate. And then if I need to adjust the monthly tuition for the 40-minute students so that it's a round number, I will do that as well. Usually I give them a tiny bit of a discount, but not much. It's basically the same per minute rate as the 30-minute students. If you took anything away from this video or found it interesting, go ahead and give it a like so I know to make more videos like this one. And if you want to keep watching, here's a video I made a while back about exactly how to calculate how much you should be charging for your lessons, whether it's 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 45, 60, whatever you do. Check out that video next, and I will see you there.